Now on CoastTV News.
Still searching. Delaware State Police need your help locating a wanted Millsboro man. We'll tell you what he's accused of. A stalled vision. Ocean City's youth sports complex still doesn't have a site or a timeline. What's holding it back? And a peace promise. President Trump claims a breakthrough is near. What he's saying about a possible deal between Israel and Hamas.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
President Trump says that Israel and Hamas have agreed to a first phase of a peace plan. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Trump posting on his Truth Social account today that with the support of both Israel and Hamas, all hostages would be released, quote, very soon, adding that Israel would withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line in the first step toward peace. Trump saying all parties in the agreement would be treated fairly. Now, earlier in the day, before the breakthrough on the reported peace deal, Trump had said he may travel to the Middle East at the end of the week, but he did not specifically say he would be going to Egypt, where peace talks are being held. Now back here at home, Delaware State Police are still looking for 43-year-old Darnell Andrews from Millsboro. Police are asking for your help. They say Andrews is wanted for felony assault charges after a domestic-related altercation. Troopers say it happened in the Rehoboth Beach Walmart parking lot. Police say they have made attempts to contact and locate Andrews, but they've not been successful. In Ocean Pines today, this car crashed into a mailbox. That led to police arresting a fugitive. Police say Matthew Crawford was wanted in Missouri, and they say he lost control of his car on the Ocean Pines Parkway. After the crash, he was arrested on those charges in Missouri. Now to Ocean City, where years after the idea was first floated of Ocean City's youth sports complex, there's still no final site and no deadline. The town says the vision hasn't changed, multiple turf fields, also a year-round indoor facility and tournaments to boost shoulder seasons, but officials admit the project was overshadowed by other issues.
There are always things that get in the way, obviously the offshore wind. Hey, we're very focused on not destroying our vista here and our way of life. But the sports complex will always be there until there's some sort of decision made.
And the next steps are to name a location, update the costs with the stadium authority, and lay out how the town and state would pay for it. Staying in Ocean City, even though summer is over, the town remains a magnet for fun. Big events continue to draw people back to the coast, and stuff right now still being broken down at the inlet after 2 music festivals. But gates are being set up at the Ocean City Convention Center for the hot rods and the classic cars that are set to drive into town this weekend. Endless summer cruise, and it runs from October 9th until October 12th. After that, you can get ready for the 50th anniversary of Sunfest in town.
The shoulder season is broadening both on the spring and fall side of things, and what that means to the business community is there's more opportunity to continue to delight visitors to the area.
And we're also told that next year's Boardwalk Rock event could grow from 2 days to 3 days. That's the same thing that happened for Country Calling this year. Now we're looking live outside into Dover, and our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a check on the forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening. Well, we're starting to feel that chill in the air, really kind of ripe right now. But actually, it's starting to feel a bit frosty, and that's what we're expecting for tomorrow morning. 64 degrees right now in Ocean City. Winds are pushing out of the north, 13 miles per hour, and we're staying mainly clear. Now, we're going to fall into the mid to upper 50s pretty easily, and that descent will be accompanied with winds pouring out of the north. That's going to make what's chilly become, feel more towards cold. So you see, first of all, with the winds, we do have a small craft advisory that's active, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour winds from Lewis, Rehoboth, Ocean View down towards Fenwick Island. Now, in addition to that, we do have a coastal flood advisory. Now, this is not because we're expecting more rain or precipitation, but it's because it's tied into the tides, high tide, and actually in the winds coming out of the northeast, both those culminating and causing that concern. But we're looking for gusty winds to continue to be problematic for us, at least for the next couple of days. Coming up, we'll talk more about the weekend weather and another storm at the end of the weekend that I also need to tell you about.
All right, thanks, Paul. Well, the North Millsboro bypass has been open for a week and a half now, and DelDOT says the goal of the $140 million project was to move as much truck traffic out of the downtown Millsboro area. DelDOT says it's too early to know any exact numbers on how many cars and how many trucks are using the roadway, but a DelDOT engineer says it might take a while for the truck drivers to get used to it and learn the new route. Millsboro's mayor says he's spoken with Mount Air Farms and Allen Harem and truck drivers from those companies to make the bypass their main route.
Now some of the heavier dump trucks coming through, so not related to the poultry industry. So down the road at some point, we'll work with DelDOT and possibly have truck restrictions.
And DelDOT says exact numbers should be released after 1 full month of the bypass being open. This does bring us to our CoastTV poll tonight because we want to know if the bypass has changed anything for you, if you think it's changed the traffic there in Millsboro. And looking at the results, you can see definitely mixed answers. 34% saying it's much better now, 19% say they don't see a big change, 3% say it's more confusing, and 44% think it's just too early to tell. We also have a comment tonight. This is from Howard in Millsboro. He says he thinks it seems better so far. Thanks for sharing, Howard. And you can leave your own comment and you can also still vote. Just go over to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Well, Delaware State Police are investigating a deadly single car crash in Seaford this afternoon. Around 3 p.m., troopers tell us a Buick Enclave was heading north here on Seaford Road when, for unknown reasons, the car went off the road and hit a tree. The driver did pass away, and their identity is being withheld until family members are notified. One Talbot County town is looking into safety improvements along Route 50 after a deadly crash Saturday morning. The hit and run killed a 68-year-old bicyclist. Now at Monday's Easton Town Council meeting, Council President said he was, quote, pleading with the state to consider adding speed cameras to Route 50, among other safety improvements. Now, the town cannot put the cameras in without state approval, so nothing is official yet. But some people in town tell us it's certainly time for some safety upgrades.
I mean, it's not safe for people trying to get to and from areas that are on 50. You know, even crossing 50, even on one of the crosswalks is dangerous.
Now, Easton's council president says the state has always been helpful, and he hopes they will seriously consider new options to improve safety for pedestrians, bikers, even drivers there in Easton. Well, cutting-edge technology could be on the way to the Wicomico County landfill. This here, take a look at your screen. It's called a WAGA box. Essentially, it converts harmful greenhouse gases into a renewable energy source, which is then pumped into the grid and can be used to power people's homes. The idea was presented to the Wicomico County Council last night, and the landfill's acting superintendent says he hopes it gets approved, saying it would benefit the county in several ways.
When you have the ability to not only maintain better environmental compliance, to also upgrade your systems and be a better steward, and at the same time get some extra money in the bank, that makes a big difference for us.
And Corey says the box would also create jobs and bring money into the county. If the Wicomico County Council gives it the green light, it could be installed and up and running in about 2 years. Making national headlines tonight, 9 months after the Palisades fire claimed the lives of a dozen people in the Los Angeles area and burned thousands of homes and businesses to the ground. Officials say they have arrested a suspect in Florida on suspicion of arson. Sherelle Hubbard has more on the tragic ordeal.
Authorities have arrested a man accused of starting a fire that eventually led to the wildfire that ravaged California's Pacific Palisades, killed 12 people, and destroyed thousands of homes and businesses earlier this year.
There's both a sense of anger that actually somebody came up with malicious intent.
The homes and businesses cannot be rebuilt. This arrest, we hope, will provide a measure of justice.
The arson suspect, 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht, is facing a federal charge of destruction of property by means of fire, according to the acting U.S. Attorney for Central California.
Geolocation data for the 911 calls showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew.
The Palisades fire began on January 7th, and although authorities have declined to speak on a possible motive, authorities say the suspect prompted ChatGPT to generate an image of a burning forest in the months before allegedly starting the fire. The interim fire chief released a statement saying, quote, although the flames have been extinguished, the impact of these fires will linger for years to come.
This is a day that we need to all think about what happened 9 months ago. And to me, it doesn't bring any closure, but hopefully it's the first step toward justice.
The suspect did not enter a plea during his first appearance in federal court in Orlando on Wednesday. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
We still have more news to get into this evening. Coming up, Mickey Mouse money, the happiest place on earth, is getting more expensive. We'll tell you when and why. But first, healthier habitats, how Lewis is tackling invasive plants at the 4th Street Preserve.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're expecting an abundance of sunshine on Thursday, 67 degrees on Friday, but Saturday, here comes another round of rain. That's what we need to talk about, so stick around. I'll have everything you need to know in 60 seconds. So now that we've shaken the shower activity off, we have to prepare ourselves for really a significant drop in how the temperatures are going to feel, because, man, that chill is going to go from friendly to almost like the scratching of a chalkboard. But take a look at this. Right now, we're at 65 degrees. Right now in Lewis, winds pushing out of the north at about 4 miles per hour. Temperatures right now in the 50s. Now, we're already falling into the 50s very easily. We're going to hit the 40s, and it's going to feel like the 30s out in some areas overnight. That's going to be a possibility there. Now, we did record what happened with the precipitation. We had 3/4 of an inch actually for us in Rehoboth Beach, and well over a half an inch for us places like Laurel, as well as Del Mar and Harbison and Indian River Inlet. Now, as far as the official sites where we had the rain that was measured, we had over a half inch in Salisbury as well as Ocean City, and we had 0.52 actually for us in Georgetown. Now, here's some other locations where we continue to record the precipitation. We got down to only about just over 1/3 of an inch of rain for us actually for Bethany and Slaughter beaches. So, as we take a look at what's happening with our live depiction of what's going on, we have a coastal flood advisory that's going to stay in effect until 3 o'clock on the afternoon for Friday, and that's primarily due to the high tides as well as the winds coming out of the north. Clear for us overnight, and as you're going to take the dog out to walk, you may run into a couple of sprinkles by noon, but other than that, we're looking pretty clear. Most locations only getting up to 63 degrees actually in Georgetown and Lewis, as well as Rehoboth. 65 will just about do it for us in Cambridge and in Vienna, and we'll probably warm up to about 65 in Snow Hill, but only 63, for example, in Berlin and Ocean City. Now, we will be into the mid to upper 60s in some areas from the beach, but even though the temperatures say 60, I want you to dress for 40s or 50s because the winds are pushing out of the north and howling at 25 plus miles per hour. So winds out of the north is going to make it what's uncomfortable even more uncomfortable. Then Sunday going into Monday, we'll have a low pressure system that'll begin spinning near our area. Pardon me, and may bring some scattered showers our way. Keeping a close eye on what's happening with Jerry. Jerry's still a tropical storm, but will be curving away from us by the time he graduates to being a hurricane. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Paul. Well, the city of Lewis is outlining its plans for the 4th Street Preserve. It's a wooded area, or rather it's an open plot of land that the city is trying to convert into a wooded area with native species. And today, the city's Economic, Environment, and Resiliency Committee met to talk about the next steps in this project, and they say the next thing they're going to do is try and remove invasive species English ivy from the 4th Street Preserve, and you're looking at the 4th Street Preserve right now on your screen. We spoke with some locals in Lewis about what they think of this project.
This is going to be able to help them gather information as to, I guess, the soil and other vital studies to create a nice place for all of us to enjoy.
And some other action items that were discussed today include getting permits from the Sussex Conservation District for stormwater management there, also developing a 10-year habitat restoration plan that aims to combine simultaneous native tree planting with invasive species removal. Organizers say the long-term vision is a self-sufficient forest that supports biodiversity, wildlife, and community access. Coming up, a one-way ticket out of Philadelphia, how that city has a new program sending people experiencing homelessness hundreds of miles away, and what happens after they leave.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Looks like it's going to be more expensive to see Mickey Mouse now. New prices for U.S. Disney theme parks hit today. The new prices vary depending on what park and what time of the year you plan on going. The most expensive single-day, single-park ticket falls during the Christmas or New Year's holiday weeks. In Florida, it's a 5% hike to $209 plus tax to visit the Magic Kingdom. For Disneyland in California, that peak ticket price goes all the way up to $224. Looking regionally now, the city of Philadelphia has spent $270,000 to encourage homeless people to leave the city. Taxpayers are buying one-way bus tickets for Philadelphia's unhoused population through a program from the city's Office of Homeless Services. Reporter Claudia Vargas shows us how the program works and who's keeping track of it.
Rafael Colon was ready for a change.
I've been here all my life in Philadelphia, and I just don't want to keep going back into that same circle. I want to get away from the insanity that's going in Philadelphia.
Colon tells us he struggles with substance use disorder. In July, after getting out of jail, he says he found himself unhoused and sleeping on the street.
I bumped into somebody today that God brought him to me, and I was fortunate enough to meet him and sending me on my way to Florida today.
An outreach worker offered Colon a free one-way bus ticket to Florida.
I've never been down there, and I'm just going down there on a miracle, to be honest with you, on a wish.
Colon was able to board this bus through Stranded Traveler Assistance. It's a program run by the city's Office of Homeless Services. The city pays for a one-way bus ticket to places all over the country for people like Colon who are unhoused in Philadelphia.
There are over 100 of these travelers' aid organizations.
University of Pennsylvania professor Dennis Colhane says people who are in unstable housing often use this program for better opportunities.
It solves some people's homelessness.
But according to him, most programs are run by nonprofits, not funded by the city, which is what Philly does.
I think unusual that the city like Philadelphia is standing up its own organization to do this.
For me, it's our most efficient program in ending homelessness.
Bruce Johnson is the Assistant Deputy Director for the Office of Homeless Services. He manages the Stranded Traveler program. According to the city brochure, it was designed for non-residents to find their way back to a community where they have more support. Johnson says anyone in Philadelphia who is unsheltered can participate.
They come to us and say, hey, I'm ready to end my homelessness here in the city of Philadelphia.
Okay. And how do you measure the success of that?
And so based on what we did last fiscal year with about 164 participants. And so, you can kind of multiply that times, family members. And so we're talking about anywhere between 200 to 300 individuals that we ended their homelessness here in the city of Philadelphia.
The NBC 10 investigators reviewed records for the program. Since July 2021, more than 1,000 people have traveled across the state and country funded by the city. About 1 out of every 5 people are going to other locations in Pennsylvania. Other top destinations include Florida, New York, California, North Carolina, and Georgia. Most of the bus trips cost less than $500 per person. Philly taxpayers have spent more than $270,000 since 2021. Johnson says the city confirms the person has a place to go in the other location and runs the passenger's name through the sex offender registry. But that's it.
We don't necessarily check, court records and backgrounds as far as us assisting participants.
And there's no follow-up once they board the bus.
It's a success once we give them their ticket and they arrive in their new destination site.
If you're not following up, how do you know that they're not ending up homeless in that other location?
No, and I think that's a fair question. No program is a fail-safe program.
We checked in with the outreach worker who helped Colon get to a Florida recovery home. They told us he had returned to Philadelphia, but they've lost contact with him since. The city says it cannot comment on Colon due to privacy concerns.
Coming up in sports tonight, you'll meet the Maryland Clovers football coach who makes a difference on and off the field. And coming up, a Sussex County health checkup. Governor Meyer stops by Bay Health's Sussex campus to talk rural health care, affordability, and access.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. Listen, it's going to be clearer, but we're going to just call it fair because it's going to be a frosty start and a chilly, cold, windy ending.
We salute Warner Lee Wright for his honorable service in the United States Army during the Vietnam War. Stationed near Pleiku, Lee served with distinction in the 2nd Squadron, 1st Cavalry Regiment, D Troop, as a helicopter armament system specialist. His dedication, skill, and commitment to duty reflect the best of our armed forces, and we proudly honor his service and sacrifice.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
In health news tonight, a new study at a Massachusetts hospital is providing insight into how fat impacts your health. And as Brianna Borky reports, how artificial intelligence can play a role in catching health risks early.
At Mass General Brigham, a new AI tool is proving that not all fat is equal when it comes to predicting cardiometabolic risk.
It's not just about how much fat you have, but also where is the fat, what type of fat, as well as your skeletal muscle that determine your risk.
For a long time, body mass index has been used to determine someone's risk for heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and kidney disease. But as MGH researcher Vineeth Raghu tells us, BMI alone doesn't tell the full story.
What we found in this study was that it's really fat between the abdominal organs, and that's visceral adipose tissue. That was the major driver of risk in the future, and not like the superficial fat on your belly.
Take these two people. They both have the same BMI, but have very different body compositions when it comes to visceral fat, highlighted in red. The AI tool developed for this study analyzed more than 30,000 MRI scans to glean information on body composition and health risk.
So this is one of those studies where we're able to use AI to get that extra information from MRIs to predict who will develop diabetes, will have a heart attack, 5 or 10 years later.
Dr. Michael Liu is the co-director of the MGH Cardiovascular Imaging Center. He hopes this AI tool paves the way for opportunistic screening, so existing images can be repurposed to determine elevated risk.
A lot of what we talk about in AI is sort of replacing what humans do. This is more of an extension to that, so it's doing things that doctors don't really do. You don't look at an MRI and say, I think this person's going to have a heart attack in 10 years.
Today, rural health care in Sussex County got some attention from the governor. Governor Matt Meyer visiting Bay Health's Sussex campus in Milford, where he toured the facility and joined healthcare leaders for a roundtable discussion. The conversation focused on strengthening rural health care, expanding access, improving affordability, and exploring grant funding to better support local communities. Now, according to Bay Health, the challenges facing Delaware's healthcare system today are forcing patients to deal with longer wait times, delayed treatments, and in some cases, inadequate care.
What gives me hope are the individuals working here and the leadership here that's really patient-centric, that's saying, listen, no matter what's going on out there in the world, no matter what division or politics or even a federal government that's shut down, we got to make it work for the people who walk in here every single day.
Now, Bay Health says it is already working to combat some challenges through its mobile health unit, which makes it easier for people to access health care. Moving to sports, one youth football team in Maryland is thriving on and off the field, and it's a big thanks to the head man in charge who puts in the effort to make an impact on his athletes. The Delmarva Sports Network's Kayla Santiago awards this month's Coach Who Makes a Difference.
The Maryland Clovers, a youth football program in Salisbury, Maryland. Not only has this team had success on the field, but their head man is a coach in their everyday life.
At the Delmarva Sports Network, we like to award coaches for what they do on and off the field. So you are this month's Coach Who Makes a Difference winner. Congratulations. Big round of applause, everybody. And
You will also receive a $500 check from our friends at Preston Automotive.
It means a lot. You know, these kids mean everything. We out here volunteer for free. This is our 5th year, and honestly, I don't know where I would be at, and probably half of my staff would be at right now if it weren't for these kids.
Deron Duffy has also made an impact with his coaching staff.
So he's taught me a lot as far as growing up, but he introduced me to this coaching, and he actually put the confidence in me to actually take over my own team because I've always been with him.
And Coach Duffy's athletes say that he is the best coach ever.
It means a lot. You know, I knew it. I've been with him since I was like 7.
He's a good coach. I probably wouldn't, if he didn't make the team, I probably wouldn't have been here. Probably wouldn't have been playing football. The best coach ever.
Congratulations! To Maryland Clover's head coach Deron Duffy on winning the Coach Who Makes a Difference Award, sponsored by Preston Automotive Group. Reporting from Salisbury, Maryland for the Delmarva Sports Network, I'm Kayla Santiago.
Real quick, is this anybody's bunny? Rehoboth Beach police say they found the adorable ball of fluff at Turtle Bridge near the Stokely Tot Lot in Rehoboth. If you're the owner or you know who the owner is, police say they handed the bunny over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
Okay, so in Dover right now we're at 56 degrees and we're going to drop down to 53 under mostly clear skies by the 3 o'clock hour. We do have a coastal flood advisory that's active for us until Friday, and then some gusty winds along the coast with our small craft advisory that's going to stay active. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Joe DeSalvo, and you can keep up with your forecast by calling our line, and here's a look at your extended forecast.
Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can find more news and weather on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show is up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.